Hey, welcome to the Podcast Domination Show, where we help you launch, grow, monetize, and dominate the podcasting space. This is a show where we believe that if you can get attention with your podcast, you can influence someone. And if you can influence someone, you can get them to take massive action. And if you can get someone to do that, you, my friend, can dominate. I'm Diaz, your host and founder of Podcast Domination, and I'm your guide. Let's go. Hey, what's going on? Today on the Podcast Domination Show, you're going to learn the 3 ways to find sponsors. Plus, you're going to get a free template contract that you can use to negotiate a deal with a sponsor in the Facebook group. And all you have to do to get in the Facebook group is go to facebook.com, and on the top left-hand corner in the search bar, type in Podcast Domination VIP Inner Circle, and you'll be able to find the group, add yourself, and you will get the template contract when you just scroll down and find the video that I have made for this recording. This was originally a Facebook Live and also a podcast. So I hope you enjoy. I'll see you on the other side. All right, so 3 ways to get sponsors. I guess let's jump off by saying welcome to the Facebook group. If you're listening to this on the podcast, then you should be in the Facebook group as well. It is the Podcast Domination VIP Inner Circle. So if you go to Facebook, go to the top left-hand corner, type in the search bar, Podcast Domination VIP Inner Circle. It will come up and you can add yourself to the group. I will be posting regular Facebook videos that are also podcasts there as well. So you can get a live experience, you can ask questions in the chats, you can do all that fun stuff, and you can also see how bad my hair looks. So for those on the podcast, you're missing out because I'm having a horrible hair day, a horrible beard day by the looks of it as well. So let's jump into today's killer, super quick, super short. You guys know I don't like to keep these very long. I want you to get in, get out, get on with your day, and start killing it today. And that is finding sponsors. How do you go about finding sponsors? Where are they? How do you negotiate the deal? And I'm no expert, but I know a thing or two, and I can help you figure that out really quick. So let's tackle the first part today. And I have some basic contracts and basic templates that if you're in the Facebook group and you just ask me about it, I will share those with you. So if you want to get the actual template contract, you can check that out in the Facebook group. Just ask me and I'll share it with you. But anyways, the first place you can get sponsors is, and before I say this, I want to back up and say, before you get a sponsor, you want to make sure you know what you're getting into. When you get a sponsor, someone's paying you money to advertise on your show, it gets a little bit more serious because you've now got stakeholders besides your listeners at stake here. Because if you mess up, or if you don't post, or if you mess something up in post-production, or the show gets deleted somehow off your computer, it's kind of a big deal because you're getting paid for an advertiser to advertise in your show, and it could get sticky. So you want to make sure you have this kind of stuff sorted out, and you want to make sure that you know what you're getting into before you get a sponsor, because I think it's a lot of people look for it, but they don't realize it's kind of like when you bring an investor on and they buy a portion of your company. It's a little bit more red tape when it comes to making decisions and things like that. So make sure you know the ins and outs of that. And I think the best thing I can do is recommend a podcast to you guys that talks about this. And it was called, I want to say Podcast Help. Don't quote me on that. What I'll do is I'll find it and I'll put it in the show notes for the show that I'm talking about. But understand what you're getting into. Understand that it does change the game a little bit, because now you are going to be obligated in a sense to make sure you're fulfilling your side of the deal. It's not just getting paid to just post podcasts. So that's number one. Understand what you're getting into. The first place you can look to find podcasts is magazines in your industry. So if you're in the, let's just say, B2B space, maybe you're in car sales, looking at the industry and magazines and looking at what companies already have advertising budgets that they're allocating towards these places, and how are you better, cheaper and better ROI on their money for them. So looking at the industry magazines is an easy place to go because you know these people are already spending money. They are already invested into this, and your job is to show them why a podcast is better than a magazine being on page 46 of the industry magazine. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But those are people you could reach out to and just cold email them and share with them kind of your stats, your numbers, what's in it for them, what kind of audiences you're reaching, what are you doing for promotion and post-production, what are you doing for social media outreach, and that sort of stuff. So that is number one, magazines. I learned that from Rob Walch. Rob Walch is the man. Super simple. It's a great way to start. Number two place you can find sponsors is on industry related events websites. So if you look at your industry, if you look at the events that happen on a yearly basis, what are the companies that are sponsoring those events? What are the companies that are posted on the websites for these places? And why don't you reach out to them and tell them about your podcast and tell them what you're offering in terms of audience reach, what you're offering in terms of pricing, what are you willing to do for them? Are you willing to get them their CEO on your show and interview him or her? What are the things you're willing to do to create that relationship? And I would always suggest posting it as a test. Let's do a 30-day test run. If you get this many engagements or this many downloads in your show, or they give you a discount code and they say, hey, if you sell us 50 of these from your podcast in a month or 2 months, we'll stick around and we'll sign a long-term deal. But getting your foot in the door is going to be a lot easier if you propose it as a test for an X amount of days, as opposed to, hey, why don't you, advertise my show for the next 6 months. I don't know. So bring your numbers, propose a test, and that's how I would go about it. Number three is, so we talked about the magazines, talked about the industry events. Then I had three here for a second. Forget my notes. Okay. So number three is Google pay-per-click ads. Big one right there. So what you can do is go to Google. I don't know if you guys see my screen, but if you go to Google and you just type in the supplement industry. So let's type in pre-workout supplement, maybe for men or for women. Pre-workout supplement for women. See what comes up and reach out to these. So like I've just typed in pre-workout supplement for women. LadyBoss.com came up. Lori Harder came up. CompleteNutrition.com came up. Onnit.com came up. And Onnit does a lot of podcast sponsorships too, by the way. Canadian Protein. I mean, all this stuff came up. So these are all potential, if you have a female audience that you promote stuff to, like pre-workout, these are possible people that could be a fit for you if they fit your messaging, your brand, what you stand for, and kind of what the angle is that you take to nutrition or health. So obviously making sure it's a fit for your overall brand and not just somebody you're just trying to get money from. That's an obvious number one. But if it's a fit, then you can look at these avenues, look at these channels for potential sponsors. Another place you can go is Amazon.com. So if you just go to Amazon, type in the product that your audience typically buys. For me, this is a show about podcasting, so something logical for me to promote would be the Audio Technicas that I always get my clients. Like I've bought probably like more than a dozen of those things already. So I should probably have an affiliate code, right? So that's an easy place to go. So you can go to Amazon.com, look at the typical products that your people buy, and even poll them on this. Say, hey, what are some of your favorite presents for Christmas? What are some of the things you use every day in your business or in your life? And then you can reach out to those people and simply open the conversation up for sponsorship. So 4 ways we discovered on how to find sponsors. So if you want sponsors that much, if you think your show is worth it, keep in mind, from what I've heard and I spoke to a few professionals about this, guys who do like the negotiation and brokering the deals, I guess is how you call it. They were telling me basically that you need around 2,000 to 2,500 downloads per episode for sponsors to even open up the door for conversation. Now, I think that is a bit of a different metric if you're in different niches. Maybe if you're in the Airbnb, like home lodging niche, you don't need that many people to turn a profit. Maybe if you're in the more broader business to business marketing category, you're going to need around 5,000-10,000 downloads per episode for them to talk to you, because there's a lot more competition there. So it depends, obviously, but if you're more niche, you can probably bet on needing less of a higher number for downloads than if you were more of a broad category. If that makes sense. So 4 ways, use those ways. Make sure that the people you're going to actually kind of get into bed with are people you want to be associated with long term. Because you are going to piss some people off when you bring on ads and you bring on like sponsors. But if it's mutually beneficial, I don't see why not. So that is it for today. Look at that, 10 minutes. Probably after we add the intros and outros here, it'll be like 11 and a half, 12 minutes. But that's not bad. This is enough to get you through probably the first quarter of your workout if you're listening to this when you're training. So without further ado, be sure to comment below if you're in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group and you're listening to this on the podcast after this comes out, go to the Facebook group. It's called Podcast Domination VIP, and that stands for Very Important Podcaster. Like how I did that, and inner circle, and become a part of the group, and I will connect with you in there. And then other than that, have a kick-ass day, my friend. And let me go and pause this so that this the actual podcast recording doesn't get too long. So I'll catch you later. Hey, what's up? It's Lewis again. Really hope you took something of value away from today's show. And don't forget, there's only one thing I want you to do if you need help, if you want to chat about this, if there's any way I can serve you, that is to text or maybe even give me a call at 561-405-7838. That is a Google Voice number that goes directly to my phone, so I will be on demand for you, and we can chat about how we can help you grow, launch, or monetize your podcast. Thanks. I'll catch you next week.